Now, here's your Texan-in-Chief, Robert Pratt.
Welcome back to Pratt On Texas, our Lone Star Story of the Day, sponsored by Allied Compliance Services. Ironically, an independent school district in Texas named Godly, well, the community's godly, had a professional escort with prostitution convictions serving on the district's Sexual Education Council and in other roles. Who's doing the background checks? Her clients? Who knows? You know, we've seen some of that out there. This is a big story from Fox 4 in Dallas. Fox 4 Investigations' David Sintendre put the story up last night, as a matter of fact, so it's pretty fresh. Headline: Convicted prostitute, current escort removed from godly ISD groups, including council overseeing sex ed. That's right. She's on that deal. She advertises online as a, quote, escort. We had no idea what was going on in her personal life. She's always very friendly and personable, said Godly ISD School Board trustee Kayla Lane. Well, that's a good way to keep clients. I mean, you got to be nice and personal and everything if you're going to keep your clients, if you're a upscale hooker. Convicted prostitute actively advertising and as an escort was serving on a council that recommends, quote, appropriate grade levels and methods for human sexuality instruction within Godly ISD, end quote. Now, the left would say, of course, sex worker. That's the word. They don't allow the word prostitute. Sex worker. Well, of course she ought to be on that. I mean, we ought to mandate that those people be on there because they know all about how it works. Of course, again, with everything else with the left, they leave out the much more important than the mechanics, because even someone with almost no IQ can figure out the mechanics of sexual activity. The animals do it all day long. It's the moral dimension that matters most. So she's her name is Ashley Ketcherside. You'd have some fun with that. It's shown on a Godly ISD YouTube video at their School Health Advisory Council's meeting, which you got to have by law. At the end of the school year in October, she's listed as committee member in meeting minutes. Members need to be appointed by the school board to serve, according to the district spokeswoman or spokesperson. I don't know if it was a man or a woman. Ketcherside was also selected by Superintendent Rich Deere. To the Long Range Facility Planning Committee. Why? Somebody needs to be looking into this. She was a volunteer on the Family and Community Engagement Committee, Parent-Teacher Organization, PTA, and Godly Athletic Booster Club. Yeah, but she could boost them. Ketcherside also leads a, quote, local cheerleading group, end quote, according to Godly ISD. Well, some of the people upset, like Mary Lowe, said some parents became suspicious of Ketcherside because she claimed to own multiple businesses, but information about those businesses was unknown. So parents, unlike the professional staff that's supposed to do background checks and things that get paid a lot of money, no. The parents, and this is what the left and the administrative state, all of them in the administrative state hate, they do not want parental involvement because why? You end up getting embarrassed. Well, parents just simply did some online searches. And they couldn't find any of these businesses, but one of them did a LexisNexis public record search to reveal that using one of her email addresses that she's provided matched the same email as an escort site for Lola Brea, B-R-E-A. You can go look it up. She's a pretty good-looking woman. I Googled her email address, and that's how I was able to find the escort services, said Lane, this Kayla Lane, board trustee. Lola Brea's images are found on public websites. Some images are too risque to use in our report, they say at Fox 4. Ashley Ketcherside, whose maiden name is Ashley Villalobos, was found guilty of prostitution in 2012 and again in 2016. An affidavit claims she's also known as Lola Brea. One escort site says Lola Brea was active last month. Lola Brea's client reviews this year, and reviews date back a decade. In 2016, in a separate matter, a judge signed an injunction not allowing specific children to visit, quote, any place of Ashley Villalobos' residence because she was a known prostitute. But school put her on the committees. The schools said, we've notified the parent they'll no longer be able to serve, meaning that person. They didn't say the prostitute that she'll no longer be able to serve. Still, Fox 4 asked Godly ISD if background check was required for any of Ketcherside's positions. Yes, they were. As a matter of fact, background checks were required. Obviously, the district would not knowingly allow anyone to work in a staff position or to volunteer with certain criminal convictions in their background. We would think that typically, if you ran a background check, that those arrests would show up, and they don't. They're misdemeanors in the state, said Lowe. I think this is something the state needs to look at in regard to how they're screening people that participate in schools. This is exactly the kind of thing that Republicans have tried to do to make these things like election cheating and other things where they have teeth, and the left always opposes it, and they don't want any of this stuff coming forward. Her husband, Michael Ketcherside, serves on the school's athletic booster club and Watchdogs, a group of, quote, fathers, end quote, who volunteer throughout the school day, according to Godly ISD. One 2016 court document obtained by Fox 4 claims that the husband, Michael Ketcherside, folks, he doesn't just know about it. He, quote, is very supportive of her profession. Yeah, why not sit back and drink beer at home? Does that make you a pimp? Just wondering. Sit back and enjoy the benefits. And, people read this stuff and read the Bible and read the Old Testament and the New, where it talks about all this sexual sin and this very kind of thing. And people think this stuff is just, a lot of really ignorant people will dismiss these things as well, that's something back then. This stuff goes on all the time. It's going on right in your neighborhood, right here in a very, very nice part of Frisco. Godly ISD told Fox 4 members of the Student Health Advisory Committee are appointed by the school board. But even though we saw Ketcherside on video at the meeting table, she was listed as a member online. The district said it was a mistake. She never went through the approval process. Well, wait a minute. Is it because the school staff are telling us that it doesn't catch those things? Or is it what they're saying now? The school staff are saying she never went through that process. For some, that raises more questions. Of course it should. Of course it should, with these avaricious bunch of school bureaucrats that are taxing us out of our homes and running bigger and bigger and bigger administrative states in their school districts all the time. Of course it does. She wasn't just on some committee. She was on a bunch of stuff, including an appointment from the superintendent himself. Again, I'd like to see a list of clients. Be interesting. Anyway, but she was put on this woman was put on the facilities committee, the long range facility planning committee for Godly ISD. Oh, well, but we don't need any competition. Parents don't need to have a say. No, we can just trust everybody because it's such a noble profession. Everybody involved in it's just super great and competent and everything. By the way, on that subject, Carroll ISD and Princeton ISD have voted to partner with Texans for Excellence in Education, TEE, to become this new alternative association's first member districts. It's a nonprofit launch to meet parents and school districts' demand for an alternative to the old and politicized and left-wing and huge money-making and job deal program for ex-high-paid superintendents and everybody to go lobby the legislature, TASB, Texas Association of School Boards, which is an awful, rotten to the core organization. So this new TEE, Texans for Excellence in Education, has come about. Carroll ISD and Princeton ISD are the first to actually join the new group, and that's good. They can get their insurance stuff and their employee benefits and all those kind of things and legal advice from them instead of from a bunch of lefties over at TASB that do nothing but push, tell districts to push this trans agenda and everything like that. But we're supposed to trust everybody without ever asking questions, aren't we? That's what we're told by that crowd anyway. While we're disrespectful of all these hardworking people in local government when we ask questions, that's what they say. Long live liberty, long live Texas, and may God bless us all. Thanks for joining me, and adios, mis amigos.